All right, welcome to my lecture on integration by parts. But before I get to integration by parts, let's just recall a few facts. Okay, so if I integrate a derivative, so for example, like x cubed dx, I'm going to get the integral of 3x squared, excuse me, dx. And then the thing that differentiates to it is what we differentiated, x cubed. So that's going to be x cubed plus a constant. So here's the moral. If I integrate something that I'm going to differentiate, like h of x, this is just h of x, what's inside the integral, plus a constant. Okay. So here, that was one fact. The second fact is that if I differentiate a product of two functions, f of x times g of x, well, this is given by the product rule. So this is going to be f prime of x times g of x plus g prime of x times f of x. Then I could integrate. So let's apply 1, 2, 2. So that is, I'm just going to integrate this okay. So that is the integral of a derivative. And then this is equal to, by the product rule, the integral of f prime of x times g of x dx plus this integral of g prime of x times by f of x dx. Okay, and I can now rewrite this equation. This is going to be f of x multiplied by g of x equals the integral of f prime of x times g of x dx plus integral of g prime of x times f of x dx. Okay, and now I'm going to move one of the integrals over to the other side of the equation. And so this is going to be f of x times g of x minus this integral of g prime of x multiplied by f of x dx. And that's equal to this integral of f prime of x times g of x dx. This is the integration by parts formula. Okay. And some people often write this with u's and v's. Okay, so if you wanted to write it in terms of u and v, okay, v would be equal to g of x, so v prime is equal to g prime of x. People often also write this as dv, okay, and this means that u prime, which is du, is equal to f prime of x. So u is the antiderivative of f prime of x, and that's just f of x, because f of x is derivative f prime. Well, this says, well, f of x times g of x, that's u times v, okay, minus this integral of v prime times u is equal to this integral of u prime times v. Okay, and the question is always, so this is another formula for integration by parts. Question is always, what should u and what should u be and what should v be? Well, I'm going to give you this example. Let's calculate this integral of x times e to the x dx. Okay. Well, my life would be a lot easier if I did not have that x there. Okay. So I'm going to let this be v is going to be a thing we differentiate, which is x. So v prime is equal to 1. Okay. My life would be easier if x was not there. Okay. Okay. Then that means, since I let v be x, that means that u prime has to be equal to e to the x. Well, u is the thing that has derivative e to the x, which is e to the x itself. So this integral right here is going to be u prime times v. That's x times e to the x. That's going to be u times v minus integral v prime times u. Well, this part of the equation we're going to fill out. U times v, that's e to the x, times v is x, minus integral of v prime is 1, times by u, which is e to the x dx. So this simplifies to be x times e to the x. The antiderivative of 1 times e to the x is e to the x, and then I'm going to add a constant of integration. And that's integration by parts for you. Okay, let's check. This is the antiderivative. Okay, so if I were to differentiate x times e to the x, I'll use the product rule there, minus the derivative of e to the x, and add a constant. Okay, so x times e to the x, that's product rule, so differentiate the x, leave e to the x alone. Okay, then leave x alone, differentiate e to the x, well, derivative of e to the x is e to the x, so that's the product rule, minus e to the x, the derivative of constant is 0, okay, and so this is equal to x times e to the x. That's the thing that was inside our integral when we started this example. So this is a check that the antiderivative of x times e to the x is x times e to the x minus e to the x plus a constant. And the key takeaway for today are these two formulas that are boxed above the example. Those are your integration by parts formulas. Okay, thank you very much for joining me.